10 Stoic Lessons to Master Your Emotions and Stay Calm in Chaos. You were ghosted. You were disrespected. You were left unread. And it messed with your peace. But here's the truth. Your peace was never theirs to break, unless you gave it away. And that's where Stoicism begins. In a world where people chase closure, beg to be understood, and react to every trigger, the Stoic stands still. Not because they don't feel, but because they've trained their mind to respond with power, not panic. Today, more than ever, the world is loud. Everyone is performing, comparing, pleasing, panicking. It's a storm of opinions and expectations. But Stoicism teaches you this. You are not the storm. You are the mountain beneath it. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about seeing them clearly, without letting them take the wheel. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being unshakable. The ancient Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, lived in uncertain, often brutal times. They didn't have luxury or control over what happened to them. But they mastered what truly mattered. How they met each moment, with discipline, dignity, and clarity. And that's what this video will teach you. We'll walk through 10 timeless Stoic lessons that will help you take back your emotional discipline. Let go of what you can't control. Build true mental strength. And stay grounded, even when life gets loud. Each one is practical. Each one can shift your mindset starting today. No fluff. No hype. Just real philosophy, for real life. You don't need to master all 10 right away. You just need to begin. Take a deep breath. Let the noise fade. And start reclaiming your mind, one thought at a time. This isn't about changing the world. It's about changing how you meet it. Welcome to the journey. Let's begin with Lesson 1. Focus only on what you can control. You sent the message. You opened your heart. They saw it, and said nothing. Now you replay the silence, again and again. You imagine different words. You obsess over what you could have done better. And in doing so, you hand over your peace to something you never controlled in the first place. Epictetus, a man born into slavery who became one of Stoicism's greatest minds, taught, "Some things are within our power, while others are not. Your thoughts? Yours. Your actions? Yours. Your attitude? Always yours. Their response? Not yours. Their timeline? Not yours. Their silence? Still not yours. And yet we suffer most when we try to own what doesn't belong to us. Imagine a skilled archer. They train their posture, breath, and aim. They release the arrow. But the wind shifts. The target moves. The shot misses. Should they blame the wind? No. A Stoic archer doesn't measure success by whether the target is hit. They measure it by the quality of the aim. This is your aim, to do your part with excellence, then let go. Here's a modern version. You apply for a job. You prep, dress well, speak with confidence. But they pick someone else. Most people spiral. What did I do wrong? The Stoic response: I did what I could. That's enough. This mindset frees you. You're no longer a puppet of outcomes. You become grounded in process, not praise. But this isn't apathy. It's power. Because now your energy flows where it counts, into action, not anxiety. Here's your practice. Draw 2 circles. One labeled within my control, the other beyond my control. Fill them with what's real. Then focus only on the first. Every time you feel tension, ask, am I holding something that isn't mine to hold? Let this be your mantra. Do what is mine. Release what is not. Because true strength isn't controlling everything. It's refusing to be controlled by anything that isn't yours. This is where Stoic freedom begins. The strength of acceptance. You didn't want it to happen. But it did. The job fell through. The person pulled away. The door closed, harder than you expected. And so you wrestle with reality. You replay it. Resist it. Wish it were different. But the more you resist what is, the more you suffer. This is where most people confuse pain with punishment. They think something's gone wrong. But to the Stoic, discomfort isn't an error. It's an invitation to accept life on life's terms. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs?" Acceptance isn't weakness. It's the ultimate strength. Because it's not about giving up, it's about giving in to truth. When you accept reality, you reclaim your energy. You stop arguing with the past. You stop fighting a moment that has already passed. You say, "This is what happened. I don't love it, but I can face it." And that facing? That's courage. That's growth. Here's where acceptance becomes power. You stop waiting for apologies that won't come. You stop hoping people will become someone they're not. You stop demanding that life be fair before you feel peace. Instead, you shift. You learn from it. You adapt. You realign with who you're becoming. This doesn't mean you liked what happened. It means you're not letting it define you anymore. It's the difference between holding a burning coal, hoping someone else will feel the heat, and dropping it so you can walk forward free. Here's your practice. When something goes wrong, say aloud, "I don't have to love this, but I accept that it happened." Follow with, "Now, what's within my control moving forward?" This shift breaks the emotional loop. It closes the chapter that doesn't need to be reread. It places you back in the author's chair of your own story. Because acceptance isn't approval. It's alignment. It's maturity. It's choosing reality over resistance, so you can finally move forward. This is Stoic strength. And it starts with 2 words. I accept. Practice presence, mindfulness. You're here. But your mind isn't. It's stuck in a moment you can't change. Or trapped in a future that hasn't happened. You're scrolling, reacting, comparing. But not really living. This is the epidemic Stoicism warned us about. Being physically alive but mentally elsewhere. Seneca said it plainly. True happiness is to live in the present, without anxiety about the future or regret for the past. But how often do we do that? We check our phones during conversations. We drift through meals. We escape silence like it's a threat. We're everywhere, except now. And when your mind is always elsewhere, you become a prisoner of reaction. You miss what's happening in front of you because you're chasing ghosts and illusions. The Stoic knows this. Presence is power. It's the root of awareness, and awareness is the root of control. To be present doesn't mean you have to meditate on a mountain. It means you meet this moment fully, whatever it is. Without judgment. Without panic. Without resistance. Here's the shift. You don't wait for life to slow down. You slow yourself down, internally. And in that stillness, you begin to see clearly again. Here's a modern practice. Start your morning without your phone. Let your thoughts settle before the world floods them. Do one thing today with full attention. Whether it's brushing your teeth or walking, make it a meditation. Breathe deeply when emotions rise. Anchor to your breath instead of your reaction. This is not productivity. This is presence. And presence leads to clarity, focus, and peace. Because most anxiety isn't about what's happening. It's about what you're afraid might happen. And most regret isn't about the moment. It's about the one you missed. So be here. Not half present. Not distracted. Just here, with your breath, your senses, yourself. You don't need to control every situation. You just need to arrive fully in it. That's mindfulness. That's the Stoic mind, awake, aware, unshaken. Build inner resilience. Life will test you. Not once. Not twice. But constantly. You'll lose things you thought were permanent. You'll be disappointed by people you trusted. You'll wake up to realities you didn't ask for. And in those moments, you'll have two choices: break or build. The Stoic chooses to build. Not out of denial, but out of a deeper truth. You are stronger than you think, especially when things fall apart. Marcus Aurelius lived through plague, betrayal, and war. And yet, in his writings, he never begged for comfort. He reminded himself, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That's Stoic resilience. It doesn't mean you won't feel pain. It means you won't let pain stop you from growing. Think of resilience like muscle. You don't get stronger by avoiding strain. You get stronger by meeting resistance, intentionally, steadily, and wisely. Modern example. You fail at something you cared about. Most people either avoid the lesson or wallow in self-blame. The Stoic response? You study the failure. You extract meaning. You rebuild, this time better. Resilience is not bouncing back. It's rebuilding forward. It's not about acting tough. It's about enduring without bitterness. Here's your practice. When something feels overwhelming, pause and ask, "What is this moment here to teach me?" Instead of saying, "Why me?" shift to, "What now?" Journal one moment in your life you survived, and how it shaped you. You'll see a pattern. You didn't break. You adapted. You sharpened. And every version of you since then carries that strength forward. The world doesn't need more people who avoid pain. It needs people who transform it into wisdom. Because storms will come. But your roots, if you build them deep, won't be shaken. This is resilience. Not a shield against life, but a source of strength within it. And the Stoic knows. When you face hardship with presence and principle, you don't just survive. You evolve. You always control your response. Someone insulted you. Someone left you out. Someone betrayed your trust. And the instant it happened, your heart raced, your mind tightened, your body prepared to react. That's normal. But just because it's natural doesn't mean it has to be automatic. This is the space where Stoicism lives, between stimulus and response. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." You don't get to control other people's behavior. But you always get to choose your next move. The Stoic doesn't ignore the emotion. They observe it. They question it. They slow down enough to ask, "Is this reaction worthy of who I want to be?" Most people live in reflex. They yell back. They ghost. They post something they regret. And later they say, "I didn't mean it, I just lost control." But the truth is, you didn't lose control. You never paused long enough to take it. That's the Stoic skill. Pause. Breathe. Choose a response, instead of being consumed by a reaction. Modern scenario. You read a message that stings. Your fingers itch to fire back. But instead, you close the app. You journal your feelings. You respond the next day, from a place of calm, not chaos. That's not weakness. That's composure. That's power under control. Here's your practice. When triggered, silently say, "Pause is power." Take 3 deep breaths before speaking or replying. Ask yourself, will this reaction build or burn something important? Will I be proud of this response tomorrow? This doesn't mean you never stand up for yourself. It means you do it with strategy, not with spirals. Because most damage in relationships, reputations, and self-worth happens not from pain, but from undisciplined reaction to pain. The Stoic understands this. To master your emotions is not to feel less. It's to choose more wisely what you do with those feelings. When you master your response, you reclaim your time. You preserve your energy. You protect your peace. And in a reactive world, your stillness becomes a rare, radiant kind of strength. Minimize desire, maximize peace. We live in the age of more. More likes. More validation. More money. More attention. And still, most people feel empty. Why? Because desire, unchecked, becomes a prison. The Stoics weren't against ambition. They were against attachment to outcomes. They believed that desire, when left unexamined, leads not to freedom, but to frustration. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Think about it. You want someone to like you. They don't. You feel broken. Not because you lack something, but because you thought you needed what they didn't give. Desire, when excessive, teaches you this lie. I'll be whole when they reply, when I get the promotion, when I have what they have. And that gap between now and when? That's where anxiety, jealousy, and burnout live. The Stoic chooses differently. They define what's enough. They let go of status as identity. They live simply, not to suffer, but to focus. Modern practice. Unfollow accounts that make you compare. Track how often you refresh for likes or messages. Ask yourself, would I still want this if no one saw it? This isn't about becoming passive. It's about becoming selective. You stop wanting what's popular and start choosing what's essential. Here's your practice. List 5 desires you chase regularly. Identify which ones bring peace and which bring pressure. Try a 3-day desire detox. No shopping, no unnecessary scrolling, no checking to be seen. Observe what surfaces emotionally. That's where clarity begins. Repeat this mantra. What I don't desire cannot control me. Because peace isn't found in getting more. It's found in needing less. You don't need to erase every desire. But you do need to interrogate them. Ask yourself, does this lead me to more of who I am, or further from my center? The Stoic understands. To live well isn't to collect more. It's to chase less and live fuller with what remains. That is freedom. And freedom begins where craving ends. Live with virtue. In a world chasing results, Stoicism reminds us to return to the root. Character over outcome. The Stoics believe that virtue isn't just a nice idea. It's the only good worth striving for. Not wealth. Not reputation. Not even health. Because all of those can be taken from you. But your character? That's yours to build. Yours to protect. Marcus Aurelius put it simply. Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter. So what is virtue? To the Stoics, there are 4 cardinal virtues. 1. Wisdom, knowing what to do, when to do it, and why. Wisdom is asking, is this choice aligned with who I want to be? What does reason, not impulse, tell me here? 2. Courage, doing what's right, even when it's hard. Not loud bravery, but quiet consistency. Speaking the truth when it's uncomfortable. Walking away when silence is stronger than defense. 3. Justice, treating others fairly, even when no one's watching. Being ethical in business. Being honest when it costs you. Being loyal to values, not just outcomes. 4. Temperance. Practicing self-control in a world of excess. Knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. Knowing how much is enough, of food, talk, reaction, ambition. It's not denial. It's discernment. Living with virtue doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you're oriented, like a compass that doesn't shake with the wind. You may still fall short, but your direction stays constant. Modern practice. When making a tough decision, ask, what would someone of virtue choose here? Journal 1 time per week. Where did I live out of alignment with wisdom, courage, justice, or temperance? Recommit. You're not trying to look good. You're trying to be good, quietly, consistently. Virtue is not flashy. It rarely trends. But it leaves behind a life that holds up, even when no one's watching. Because in the Stoic view, the true test of a person isn't what they get. It's what they become. So ask yourself, are you building a life, or just a resume? The world may admire success, but your soul recognizes virtue. Build that, and nothing outside can take it from you. Embrace impermanence. Everything changes. Everything ends. And that's not a curse, it's a compass. The Stoics didn't avoid the idea of impermanence. They embraced it. Because when you remember that nothing lasts, you start to live differently. You stop wasting time. You stop clinging to what's leaving. You start cherishing what's here, while it's still here. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. That sounds heavy. But it's not meant to darken life. It's meant to illuminate it. This is the practice of memento mori. Remember you will die. Not to fear death, but to wake up to life. Because when you forget impermanence, you live like everything is guaranteed. That love will wait. That time will bend. That opportunity will come again. But the truth is, every conversation could be the last. Every sunrise is a chance you don't own. Every person you love is temporary, and so are you. The Stoic doesn't use this to feel anxious. They use it to feel awake. When you embrace impermanence, you forgive faster. You complain less. You appreciate ordinary moments like they're rare, because they are. Here's your practice. Each morning say to yourself, I will meet today as if it's my last. Not in fear, but in focus. Look at the people you care about. Ask, if I knew this was our final exchange, how would I show up differently? Let that guide your tone, your attention, your time. This shift doesn't make you somber. It makes you sincere. You stop trying to possess life and start participating in it. Because grief begins when we forget that everything we love is borrowed. And peace begins when we learn how to hold it without gripping. The Stoic understands. Nothing is promised. Not tomorrow. Not people. Not even this breath. So we breathe deeply. Love fully. Speak truth. Let go gently. That's not weakness. That's presence. And it's how the wise learn to live. Not forever, but completely. Gratitude is a daily practice. Most people wait for big things to feel grateful. A raise. A relationship. A success that finally silences the doubt. But the Stoic knows. If you're not grateful now, you won't be grateful then. Because gratitude isn't based on what you get. It's based on what you see. Epictetus put it clearly. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. Gratitude isn't naive positivity. It's spiritual precision. It's seeing what's already working, when it would be easy to focus on what's missing. And it's hard. Because our world trains us to notice lack. To scroll through other people's wins. To chase more, like it's the solution to our sadness. But the Stoic pauses. They breathe. They take inventory. Not to deny pain, but to remind the mind. There is still something here. Something worth honoring. Gratitude grounds you. It softens your anger. It balances your ambition. It gives context to hardship. Because sometimes the only thing between despair and dignity is the ability to whisper, "Thank you for even this." Here's your practice. Each morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how small. A warm drink. A clear sky. A message from someone who stayed. Before you sleep, ask, "What did I almost miss today, but I'm glad I didn't?" When you feel like nothing is enough, stop and name what already is. And here's the shift. Don't wait to feel grateful. Practice gratitude until you feel it. Because your mind won't naturally look for blessings. You have to train it. And when you do, life softens. You start noticing how rare normal is. You start treating small moments like sacred ones. You stop needing more to be at peace. The Stoic doesn't need excess to feel abundance. They simply see clearly what others overlook. Gratitude is not an escape. It's an anchor. And it reminds you. Even on hard days, you still have breath. You still have choice. You still have this moment. And that's enough to begin again. Keep growing, keep learning. There is no finish line. No final level. No moment where you've arrived, and life stops asking more of you. The Stoics knew this. That no matter how wise you become, there is always something left to unlearn, relearn, or refine. Epictetus put it simply. Only the educated are free. But education, to the Stoic, didn't mean collecting facts. It meant transforming the self, day by day, decision by decision. It meant learning how to suffer better, how to listen deeper, how to let go faster, how to start again, more wisely each time. Modern life makes it tempting to check out. You land the job. You get the relationship. You hit a goal, and think, "I'm good now." But comfort can become a cage. And pride is the enemy of progress. The Stoic path is different. You treat life like a dojo. Every challenge becomes a lesson. Every emotion becomes a signal. Every mistake becomes a teacher. You ask not, "Did I win?" but, "Did I grow?" Here's your practice. Each month, pick one skill, idea, or habit to improve. It could be journaling, public speaking, or simply saying no more often. Ask yourself daily, "What did I learn about myself today?" Track growth not in applause, but in awareness. Are you more patient than last year? More discerning than last month? More honest than yesterday? Growth isn't always visible. Sometimes it's choosing silence over sarcasm. Sometimes it's walking away without bitterness. Sometimes it's not reacting at all. That's learning. That's evolution. And the best part? You don't need to become someone else. You just need to become more of who you truly are, with clarity, depth, and courage. The Stoic knows. Your potential isn't a project with a deadline. It's a quiet journey of becoming, on purpose. So don't settle. Don't coast. And don't stop asking, "What else is life trying to teach me today?" Keep growing. Keep learning. And most of all, stay curious. Because curiosity keeps the soul awake. And an awake soul is unstoppable. Keep growing, keep learning. There is no finish line, no final level, no moment where you've arrived and life stops asking more of you. The Stoics knew this, that no matter how wise you become, there is always something left to unlearn, relearn, or refine. Epictetus put it simply: only the educated are free. But education, to the Stoic, didn't mean collecting facts. It meant transforming the self, day by day, decision by decision. It meant learning how to suffer better, how to listen deeper, how to let go faster, how to start again, more wisely each time. Modern life makes it tempting to check out. You land the job. You get the relationship. You hit a goal, and think, I'm good now. But comfort can become a cage. And pride is the enemy of progress. The Stoic path is different. You treat life like a dojo. Every challenge becomes a lesson. Every emotion becomes a signal. Every mistake becomes a teacher. You ask not, did I win? But, did I grow? Here's your practice. Each month, pick one skill, idea, or habit to improve. It could be journaling, public speaking, or simply saying no more often. Ask yourself daily, what did I learn about myself today? Track growth not in applause, but in awareness. Are you more patient than last year? More discerning than last month? More honest than yesterday? Growth isn't always visible. Sometimes it's choosing silence over sarcasm. Sometimes it's walking away without bitterness. Sometimes it's not reacting at all. That's learning. That's evolution. And the best part? You don't need to become someone else. You just need to become more of who you truly are, with clarity, depth, and courage. The Stoic knows. Your potential isn't a project with a deadline. It's a quiet journey of becoming, on purpose. So don't settle. Don't coast. And don't stop asking, what else is life trying to teach me today? Keep growing. Keep learning. And most of all, stay curious. Because curiosity keeps the soul awake. And an awake soul is unstoppable. Where real power begins. If you've made it here, you already know. This wasn't just a list of ideas. It was a shift. A shift away from reactivity, toward response. From noise to stillness. From being ruled by the world, to reclaiming your role in it. You've walked through 10 Stoic lessons. You've learned to focus on what you can control. To accept what is, instead of resisting it. To live present, even when the world pulls you away. To meet hardship with resilience, not resentment. To choose your response with intention, not impulse. To desire less and live more. To lead with virtue instead of ego. To let go, love deeply, and still know that nothing lasts. To wake up to gratitude. And to grow, not once, but always. These are not concepts to admire. They're practices to return to. Over and over. Especially when things get loud again. Because they will. You will be triggered. You will be tested. You'll want to react. You'll want to go back to what's familiar, even if it never served you. But now you know. There's another way. A quieter way. A way of clarity, discipline, and depth. And if you forget, that's okay. The Stoic doesn't aim to be perfect. They aim to return. To come back to presence. To their principles. To their center. That's all you have to do, return. So if this series gave you even one moment of clarity, one breath of calm, or one tool to hold on to, like this video to let the algorithm know that content like this matters. Subscribe to True Stoic Mindset for more content that trains your emotional clarity, resilience, and self-command. The full playlist is linked and pinned in the description. Revisit it anytime. Reflect slowly. Grow deeply. Leave a comment below. Which Stoic lesson hit you the hardest, and why? Your insight might help someone else return to themselves too. You don't need to conquer the world. You just need to stop letting it conquer you. And that journey? It begins here. With you. With a breath. With a choice. One habit at a time. One response at a time. One day at a time. This is how Stoics rise.